goes to one of the circulation pumps. They're labeled, the black labels with the tell us what set of electrical leads go to the pump. It also signifies which panel in the electrical room that the breaker is located for this particular disconnect. That same tag that you'll find on this disconnect is on each of the pumps. So in order to figure out which disconnect goes to which pump, you simply read the tag on the pump, match it up with the tag on the disconnect, and you can turn it off. We have okay, the pumps that are attached to the disconnects here on this wall. The pump for the far heat, the far unit, would be number 1 is pump number 6. Pump number 7 serves heat pump number 2. Pump number 8 serves number 3. Pump number 9 serves heat pump number 4. The heating circuit pumps for the hot water for the Wayland units are pump 12 and pump number 11, and pump number 10 is the chilled water unit. So we have these 4 larger disconnects, one for each of the heat pumps, and they are tagged with the heat pump number on it. This brown panel is the control for heat pump and circulation pump operation. It's the brains of the mechanical room. This area actually runs independent of the rest of the building. We provide hot water and chilled water to the building. Each of these relays is labeled as to which heat pump it actuates. There's a relay for first stage heating and second stage, or first stage compressor and second stage compressor in each of the heat pumps, as well as the reversing valve. You have the capability of looking at the system with an internet browser by looking up your browser and tying into the building system. You can see what the building is doing, temperatures, at least which units are running, water tank temperatures, outside temperature. This is what allows us to turn the system off, turn the cooling off when it gets cold outside, turn the heating off when it gets warm outside, and also regulate the temperatures in our chilled water, hot water, domestic hot water tank. It's also the system that lead lags the pumps. It tracks the hand draws on each of the relays. That's how it knows whether or not the pump's on or not. Based on temperatures and run times, it determines how many of the heat pumps need to run, what stage they need to be running at, whether they should be in heating or cooling mode or domestic hot water mode. And then it also synchronizes all the circulation pumps with those units. We have exhaust and a magic intake fan on the far wall, or on the far end of the room. Those are for circulation, ventilation of the mechanical space. They are operated by temperature. There's a thermostat next to the control panel that lets us control the temperature in the room, the cold outside air in, the exhaust air. To maintain temperature here, we'll find those same things in the mechanical room next door, the electrical mechanical room. And they're also located in the elevator rooms. There are exhaust fans that are operating at temperature. One last thing that we didn't hit on is the temperatures that we should expect to see. Depending on whether the system's in heating or cooling, we will have leading temperatures in the heating mode from the heat pumps on these supply thermostats of upwards of 110 degrees, maybe even a little warmer. When it's in chilling mode or cooling mode, that temperature will be down in the high 30s before the unit shut off. That lets us maintain a tank temperature for chilled water, which is what this thermometer is. When we're in optimum delivery, we're in the hottest part of the year, we're going to see temperatures that will creep up to 54, 55 degrees maybe. But most of the time we're going to deliver about 50-degree water just on the chilled water side. On the hot water side, which is here, this thermometer, yeah, you can see that right now is about 100 degrees, and that'll get as warm as maybe 110, 105, 110 going out to the building. That provides the heat for the window. Okay, here we are in the men's room, in the main hallway. Above this ceiling are heat pump number 2, which serves the library to the south of us. Filters the same situation here. Ceiling tile comes out, gets to the filter access panels. Thermostat for this unit is just on the opposite side of this wall between the two spaces. Unit number 11 is located closer to the entrance door to the restroom. It serves both the men's and women's restroom and the lobby space, and the thermostatic control for that is just inside the entrance to the lobby from the main hallway. Again, filters are accessed through the ceiling tile grid. We're in the kitchen here at Piquette Square. There's 3 heat pumps located in the ceiling space above the kitchen. They're heat pump number 3, 4, and 5. The access to the filters in here are through the ceiling tiles. You just pop the ceiling tile out. Unit number 5 is in the southwest corner of the room. Unit 3 and 4 are on the north end of the room. Let's see which one. Unit number 4, the access to the filter for unit number 4 through access panel over the kitchen sink. And the disconnects for all 3 units are mounted on the east wall of the room. Okay, unit 3 mounted above the ceiling toward the inside of the wall. Thermostat's mounted on the far end of the multi-purpose room, and it does the inside section of the multi-purpose room. Unit number 4 is mounted on the outside wall above the ceiling. Thermostat's right outside the service window, and it does the west side of the multi-purpose room. Unit number 5 is mounted on the south ceiling space. Its thermostat is in the office across the hall, and that services that office, one adjacent to it, the hallway and the kitchen space. We're outside the computer center. This area is served by heat pump number 6. That's located in the ceiling space in the computer center, in the interior corner. Thermostat is located actually right behind the door on the opposite side of the room, and the filters are accessed through the ceiling panels under the unit. This heat pump number 7 is located in the ceiling of the copy center, room number 25. It services room 16, 18, 24, 25, 26, 27. And the control for this thermostat is located in office number 24 at the main hallway. Again, filters are accessed through the ceiling panels. Pull the ceiling panel to get to it. Okay. Heat pump number 8 does this section of the building. It's located in the ceiling space in office number 20. It provides conditioning for number 21, 22, 23, and 28 also. The control is located in office number 23. Same situation here. Remove ceiling panels to access the filters. Unit number 9 is located in the job training room ceiling space. That's room number 30. The thermostat is located on one of the pillars in there, and the unit is actually in the ceiling between the 2 pillars. Filters are accessed by removing the ceiling tiles about 3/4 of the way to the west end of the building for the unit itself. This room is also served by an energy recovery ventilator. renew air unit that's mounted here just inside the door, again, in line with that space between the two pillars. That has filters that need to be serviced also, and they're closer to the east wall. Again, you remove the ceiling tiles to access those filters. Control for the ERV is tied into the heat pump. Whenever the heat pump is in the heating or cooling mode, the energy recovery unit operates, and it preconditions our outside air, takes some of the heating or the cooling depending on which mode we're in, and puts it back in the incoming airstream so that we don't use as much energy to condition the space. Here in the storage room, bike room, just off the lobby. This is where heat pump number 2, no 10, excuse me, heat pump number 10 is in the ceiling above here at the south end of the room. Access to the filters again is through the ceiling tile. This unit serves the storage room as well as the laundry to the south, and the security room, security central office off the lobby. The control is located in that security room. Okay, we're on the second floor in the northeast corner mechanical room. Heat pump number 14 is located here. It's a little larger than the other ones on the upper floors. It does this corridor area, the half of the east and all the north corridor. It also has a pair of supply and return that go to the first floor and do the north corridor residential area and a little bit of the lobby. The control for this unit is here on the wall behind the door on the second floor. The filters are accessible in the mechanical room on the far side of the unit. All right, we're in the second floor mechanical room in the southeast corner. Heat pump number 15 is located here. It does the south corridor on the second floor and half of the east corridor. We're also going to talk a little bit about the heat pumps, the water to air heat pumps, and how they operate, what the controls are, where to look for information that you might need for ordering parts, troubleshooting, that type of thing. This unit is it's a 2-ton Bosch FHP unit, and the units on the second or the third and the fourth floor in each of the corner mechanical rooms are identical to this and do the same thing. They each do one corner of the corridors, so we won't be going up there to look at those. This is the access panel to the controls circuit. Each of the units has a similar panel on the first floor and the units that are on the upper floors. There are labels that tell us what the model is, the serial number, what type of electric heat we've got in it. There's also a sticker on here that matches the hose kit to tell us what the flow is, what type of hose kit it is. So all the information that you need to identify those units is on this front door of each of the units. Okay, there's 3 screws that hold it on. Pull those off, and then we can get inside the unit to take a look at the controls. Inside that front cover are the wiring diagrams. They also have the status light legend, which tells us if we have an issue or if we don't have an issue, what the status light should be. This central green board on each of the units has a green power on light and then a red status light. If there was a fault with any of the systems, that red light would be flashing, and we'd count the number of flashes, and it would tell us what the issue is. It covers high pressure, low pressure, freeze sensor, condensate fault. So if we have blood condensate drain, it'll tell us if we have a situation where the pressure's too high, the compressor pressure's too high or too low, it'll fall out. And a lot of times that information can help us troubleshoot the situation from off-site. So, if you ever have a unit that's not running, you want to pull those 3 screws, open this cover up, and see what that light says, or what that light's doing, before you turn the power off. Okay? Just don't stick your hand in there. Disconnects for all these units are located either right next to them. The rest of them are within a few feet, mounted to the walls in the adjacent space. And I believe they're fused. Yes, they are. There are fuses in those disconnects.
Tell them what the wired or the hoses are. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. These are flexible connection hoses. They absorb any kind of vibration. They're hooked to the geothermal loop, which in these mechanical rooms goes from the main hallway up through here. We tie into a supply and return loop, and the pumps that are in the mechanical room actually provide the flow for us. The fluid flows into the heat pump. We transfer the heat into it or out of the fluid when it goes back. There are access ports on these units, so that we can check temperatures, pressures, and flow. There's really nothing to do as far as maintenance goes for on-site staff. All right, this is the filter location. We're in the 4th floor mechanical room, just down from the. We just came down from the roof. The access panels for these filters is either on the front or the back of the unit. You just take these 2 thumb screws out. The filter is located behind it, right in front of the coil. This is obviously a little bit dirtier than we'd like to see it. It should be changed probably every couple months. Okay, we're on the roof here. We've got exhausters located up here for several different parts of the building. We accessed it through a roof hatch. There's one located in each of the corner mechanical rooms on the 4th. We have, you can see there's an exhauster right here behind the roof behind each of the roof hatches. Those provide exhaust for the mechanical rooms that are stacked in the corners. And then in the far corners of the roof, there's the taller structures are the vents for the garbage chutes. And then there are exhaust fans, one for the garbage rooms, one for part of the bathroom exhaust system. The smaller one is the 4th floor. One of the larger ones is the garbage room, and the second larger one is the 2nd and 3rd floor, which are tied together. We'll find those in each of the far corners of the building. Down the line here, straight up from the laundry room, there's a Churlin exhauster, which is tied into the dryers in the basement, runs off from negative pressure. It idles continuously at very low RPM, and whenever dryers are brought online, the static pressure changes in the duct system and it increases speed. All these units up here, save the dryer vent, are belt drive, I believe. So underneath the hoods you'll find the belts. Those probably need to be, again, checked every year by a mechanical contractor or yourself. There's really not any maintenance to them beyond that. They should stay fairly clean. Maybe every few years the fins on the fans will have to be cleaned. That's pretty much it up here. And it's starting to rain, so. Okay, we're here in the commercial space mechanical room on the far west end of the south wing. In here we have the heat pumps that do the commercial space. Tenant space number 1, which is the easterly of the 2, served by heat pump number 12. And heat pump number 13 serves tenant space number 2. They are both tied into the energy recovery ventilator. This is about twice the size of the one that hangs in the training area, and it splits duty between the 2 commercial spaces, providing fresh air and saving energy at the same time. Filters are located right here in the behind this filter door. You'll notice it's the same as the ones on the other units. And it's in an identical place on both units. Controls are located in the okay, these are the Whalen units. There's one of them in each of the residential units. This grill on the bottom, this is the major maintenance access point. There's 4 screws on the grill. Pull those out and it lets you take the grill off to get at it. The filter is located in the back of the grill. That should be changed probably every 60 days or so. Behind that cabinet there are 2 removable panels that cover the blowers, so you can access the blowers there. There's a power disconnect. These units have a central power source. They're powered by the generator. You cannot turn the power off from the panel in the apartment. This is the only disconnecting means for the power for the unit here. To go further back, you have to go to the mechanical room on each floor in order to be able to turn the power off to multiple units. They're a simple unit, blower, a couple of relays, coil. In the top compartment there's a snap disc that tells it whether it's heating or cooling. That's basically it.
With you guys, okay, so I'm going to talk about. Leave a bunch, for every keyhole we leave 2 keys, so that's going to be with the general contractor, which will probably get handed over at final turnover of the building. We're also leaving you, this is called a lunar key. It's the key that manually opens your elevator doors. We don't advise you to use this key, it's really for emergency personnel.
Okay.
We also leave one in the machine rooms. This is just so that in the event of an emergency and you had to call 911 because there's a medical emergency, that you give them this to open your doors, otherwise they'll use the jaws of life. And then they'll run your doors.
Yeah.
So this is...
Where's that key go? Oh, I see it, right there.
Yep.
Okay, right here.
Yes.
Okay. I have a question over that.
Okay.
What responsibilities we have if it locks, that we allow maintenance to open that door with that key?
You should not.
Yeah. This is extreme emergency here.
Yeah.
And this key goes in this hole.
I asked that question because
Okay.
I heard that if we're not licensed elevator, we shouldn't
That's correct.
touch it. So
That's correct.
Yep, we're just starting.
If there's a medical emergency, call 911.
Oh, yeah.
and they are available to use.
They can use that because they're
Fire-
trained
firemen.
in
thanks.
evacuation.
Okay.
They know the proper procedure to go through to de-energize an elevator, to
Yep.
properly get people out.
Okay.
If you don't know that, you're putting yourself and the person inside at risk because you could open that elevator and if it moves or corrects itself while someone's getting out of an elevator,
Okay.
it could be
That's
fatal.
Okay.
It's bad.
Great.
Yeah, so if someone's trapped in the elevator and it's not a medical emergency, call us. Don't call 911 for that.
Okay.
Stand by the elevator door. You can talk to them. The biggest thing when someone's trapped in an elevator is they want to know that somebody's on the other
Right.
side.
That will work
Yes.
on.
That they're not there by themselves and they're going to spend the night in the
Okay,
elevator.
Christine, let's get specific about call us. Call what number?
Oh, sure. I'm getting there.
Oh, okay.
Right here. So this is a great page to photocopy, give to your on-call managers, whoever's going to be working nights, not here during regular business hours.
So that's for service call, right? The 800
Yep.
233 all this?
6847, right. When you call us, the quickest way for us to reference your building is this identification number, this CVD
CVD,
47.
okay.
Yep, that's
Okay.
the quickest way for us to, but you can also give us your building address and we can pull you up that way,
Okay.
okay?
Great.
We also have a website, you can place service calls through otis.com. We don't have a whole lot of people that do that, that's more, they communicate with us differently, but
Right.
most of the people, and this is goes to our call center. Call center is located in Connecticut, it's open 24 hours a day. We also have multilingual people on staff, so German, Spanish, French,
Yeah, I think you got it.
Portuguese, I think.
You got it
yeah.
covered.
We got it covered. So you also have my cell phone number. Again, my name is Christine. Paul Jellison, he's the maintenance supervisor
Okay.
for your building. He can be in charge of the
So
mechanic.
you're out of Connecticut then?
No, I'm here.
Oh,
I'm
okay,
local.
you're local,
Yeah,
okay.
Paul and I are all local. It's just our service center
Okay.
is in Connecticut.
I see.
It's an Otis owned and operated service center. It's not a third party, so all the employees there work for Otis Elevator. Okay, they field calls for all of North America. They do it pretty efficiently. The average wait time is, I think, 4.7 seconds to have a call answered, okay? Rob Olney is our general manager, and then you have our office. Our office is in, well, I have a few offices. I have an office at the Renaissance Center, an office in Farmington Hills, and I have a home office in Lansing Woods. So Paul is based out of the Renaissance Center. And then we have Rob is based out of our Farmington Hills office, okay? So this is probably the most important sheet in this book for you guys.
Great.
There are a couple features on your elevator that we'll show you when we get into the machine room. The first is, it's called remote elevator monitoring. What REM does is it allows us to communicate with your elevator. So you have to have a working telephone line in your elevators, right? We share that line, and then we use it to transmit data back and forth several times a day. There will be times when your elevator will actually place a service call for itself because it's falling out, a certain operation is falling out of the parameters that we've set for it. So you might see your technician show up because REM has called us.
Because the elevator called it.
Right,
That's
exactly.
cool.
We still rely on you guys a lot. If it's riding differently, if it sounds funny, if you notice anything different about the operation, please call us. That's exactly what we're here for. You can't, the only time that there's an extra charge for you is if you call time overtime, which is nights and weekends, okay? Or if there's been movers knock the doors off the track, there's been some kind of customer damage, okay?
Fair enough.
A few things that we ask you to check before you call us for service, because these will end up in billable service calls, which get expensive very quickly because you pay travel time portal to portal and you pay their time on site, okay? Which always gets rounded up to the next half hour. So these things are important for you to check before you call us for service. If the doors are not opening and closing fully, meaning they get to a close and they start pulsating, or it starts to close and it opens back up, we ask you to check a couple things. These are your door sills. Here, you have your hoistway in your car. You have a set of these on every floor. So we ask a couple things. If your doors aren't operating properly, check your sills. And a lot of times you'll find that there's debris in the sill that you can either pick out or vacuum out. It's also a good idea to put that on a regular maintenance program of vacuuming out the sills, okay? The other thing is you have infrared door detectors. You have a send and a receive transmitter. Especially now as you're moving and kind of kicking up some dust and doing your final preparations. These will collect dust. That could cause a misfire. So again, if you're having a door issue, just take a dry, clean cloth, and you can see it's just located right inside the door on both of these, and just wipe it down. And a lot of times that will reset the elevator, and you won't need to call us out. So just some general housekeeping issues, okay? We're going to go over your key switches because a lot of our callbacks are the result of key switches being left in the wrong position, and we don't want to bill you for that any more than you want to receive a bill for us coming out and twisting a key switch. Okay, so we'll go over that. Do you have emergency power? You do. Okay, great.
Hey, Christine, just a minute. I opened that elevator equipment room door,
Okay.
and I got it propped open. Does that work for you? for
That's
now?
perfect. Yeah, that's
All
great.
right.
Yep. When we're done with it, I'll just make sure I close it shut.
Very good.
Thank you. So you've done an emergency power test, all of that's passed. So that's great. For a hydraulic elevator, the more this gets used, the better, right? So it does like that. If there's a period of inactivity, you may hear the pump motor kick on. It's in the elevator recall to the first floor. It's just heating the oil because we have an internal thermometer. It wants to keep it at least a minimum operating temperature. Okay? So I don't want you to think of a gremlin in your elevator if the pump motor kicks on.
Okay.
There's a whole section in here on placing a service call. We just went through that, but the first time you have to do it, you might want to reference that if you've forgotten, or you can just pick up the phone and call me and I can walk you through it too. Emergency procedures, I'm going to show you when we get in the car. And we have to check your fire service system on the elevator monthly in the city of Detroit. And that's something, at least for the next 12 months, that we're going to be doing. And then as we talk about the maintenance agreement, we can go over that in more detail. There's a section here on care and maintenance. So how to take care of your finishes. In general, warm soap water cleans everything. If you have grease or fingerprints or some kind of difficult smudge to get off, simple green with a non-abrasive cloth. If you do get scratches, if you do get scratches, you can, for the most part, you have this painted, but your operating panel inside is stainless steel. We do tell you how to get out minor scratches. But again, whoever's doing the maintenance in the building, this is a great reference guide so that you are able to maintain your finishes like new condition. Really, that's all for the binder. I'm going to leave this with you. Okay? I'll set it over here. The keeper. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to send the elevator up real quick.
Okay.
Anybody have a card swipe that I can borrow?
Oh, shoot. I gave mine to the movie guy.
So you have your fire service key switch. This should always remain in the off position. The only time it should go on is if you're doing a test or if there's an actual fire in a different part of the building and it hasn't reached your smoke heads yet. The smoke heads for the elevator are separate from the rest of your building. Okay, so it can be activated, however, if you have a power outage or any kind of an electrical blip or spike or an accumulation of dust in any one of your smoke heads. Just cause an electrostatic reaction. So I'm going to, that one is me. I'm just going to show you what happens when it goes on. So you hear the buzzer. Well, maybe not over the vacuum, but there's a buzzer.
Preaching sound.
Okay, you can hear it real well.
Yeah, you can hear it.
So what will happen is the elevator recalls to the egress floor, unless this is the floor where the smoke detector is going off, and then it goes to the next alternate floor. Okay? So if you come in or you get a phone while you're touring the building and you see that, now this doesn't automatically switch to on, I'm manually turn that. This will be in the off position. But if you notice that power, what I would ask you to do is just step inside the elevator. You guys can follow me. If you see the firefighter's hat and the please exit, you know that you're on fire service, okay? And I'm going to show you how to reset it because again, if it's a power outage or something, you guys can reset this and 9 out of 10 times, you don't need to call us. On very rare occasions, a strong electrical surge will blow. This is also a surge protection system for your elevator. Very strong electrical surge will blow past this and get to your controller. We'll have to come out and reset it. But that is very infrequent, so that's why showing you this is so important. And I'll just, while we're here, test this. So this is the test that we perform monthly. This is called phase 2 of your fire service testing. Phase 1 is out in the hallway. We make sure that the elevator recalls.
Okay.
Phase 2, and this is really used for firefighters if they have to make an emergency rescue using the elevator. I don't know which one of us that is. That one's you. So we go to the floor that we've designated. You notice the doors don't automatically open because if there's a fire, you don't want it to automatically open, right? So you have to manually open doors.
Okay.
And if I were to let go before the doors were fully open, they will close again. So if a firefighter got to this floor and realized that there was smoke or fire, he could close the door immediately and go to another floor. Okay?
That way, then nobody can use the elevator, only the firefighters, right?
Only if somebody has this key.
Only if you're inside the elevator, be able to operate it.
Right.
Operation inside.
Now, if for whatever reason this key gets to the on or the hold position, your elevator will not operate properly. So this is one of the key switches that we ask you to check to make sure it's in the off position.
Okay.
Okay? Egress hall station.
Okay.
It has to be in the off position.
All the time.
All the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
We only do this test once a month.
We do this
That's
test.
you guys.
Right now we do it.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So we turn this to off, and then. Oh, wow.
door closes.
So if you've had a power outage, or for whatever reason your elevator's in fire service, remember this will be in the off position, right? You're going to turn it to reset and back to off. You'll notice that the light goes off, your doors close,
And it will operate.
and it will accept the call. Yeah. While we're here, let me take you back into the elevator, especially because it's moving day. This will be really good, unless you may already know this. There will be times when you will want your doors to stay open longer than normal, okay? Especially if you're moving, you don't want movers to try and beat the doors and have a couch hit your door or something like that. When you're in group service, that is normal elevator operation, automatic operation. When we turn this to independent, we now operate the elevator from this car panel. So it's cut out all of your hall calls, all right? So we would, and you notice the doors are open, and the doors will stay open until we tell it to do something different. So again, if you leave it in independent service, somebody may think the elevators are broken because, you know, they'll try to fire a call and they won't go anywhere.
And they're going nowhere.
Right.
You gotta hold the button.
You do, so you know this already. So if you don't hold it till the door closes all the way, it'll reopen. It's a safety, so we want to make sure that the door contact makes up to tell the elevator controller that it's safe to start the motor and the pump to move the elevator, okay? So super good function for moving day, right?
That's
Like right now, they're using it to move the stuff, right?
Good, that's perfect.
Oh, actually, they're not.
Oh, well,
That would, that's good to
and
know.
as you have residents move in,
Yeah,
now, this is a great key. It's not a key that you want everybody to have. It should be on a sign-out basis for
Yes.
somebody that's not on your staff, right? Take a license, take a credit, something. Get these keys back because when there's too many floating around, all of a sudden service calls start to get placed. You don't have control over the operation of your elevator,
Yeah.
right?
limited key is a good thing
It is.
in some
It is.
cases.
So we'll turn this back to group. Maybe move it down. We have your fan and your lights. They're either on or off. The access key switch is for the city inspector and your mechanic. You guys really won't ever need to use that. It's so that they can safely move the elevator while being, while doing some other functions, okay?
are these all different keys, or is it the same key?
They're all different. They're all different. You have your run stop, which is just a toggle. So it's, you know, if you switch it to run, if you switch it to stop, you have the alarm go off, which is fine. So that's a key indication that somebody's accidentally hit it or they're just playing around, right? So you want to come back and turn it to run. Much better actually than the state. The state's a key switch. The city is this toggle, which creates some room for error, but you know what it is. When in the rest of the state, they have a key switch, somebody just keys it to stop and you can forget that it's in the stop position and call us,
And
right?
it works. The alarm company's calling me.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's so your alarm bell works. We'll test your phone.
Cool.
Wow, that was fast. I'm impressed. This phone also dials to Otis Line, which is the service center I talked to you about earlier
Okay, in Connecticut.
in Connecticut. Yep. Now it knows that this is coming from an ADA phone.
Hello.
Oh,
Hi.
Hi. Do you need assistance in the elevator?
No, I'm with Otis. I'm checking the elevator. Can you tell me my location, please?
Yes. One moment.
Sometimes we have the speaker down here. So we know that this is an elevator phone. So
Okay, I have you at the
Piquette?
Square
Yes.
on 285 Piquette Street in Detroit, Michigan. Elevator number 1.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So this call takes priority over a regular landline or any other call coming in because it could be emergency. Somebody could be trapped in the elevator. Okay. Any questions on that?
So from here, if someone is locked out inside the elevator, from there, as soon as they push the button, they can send a service to take them out.
Yep.
It's like calling 911.
It is.
basically.
So if someone is actually trapped, we assess the situation, we make sure it's not a medical emergency, right?
Okay.
We dispatch a mechanic, and then before I leave, what I'll get from you are your emergency contact numbers, or your daytime and evening contact numbers. Because after we've dispatched a mechanic, then we'll call you and say, hey, somebody's trapped in the elevator, we're on our way. And then, really your role is to not try to get them out of the elevator, but go stand at the elevator. let them know you're there, let them know what time, you know, if you want, we can give you an ETA. Just let them know you're there, keep talking to them, calm them down.
To make them down.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is it possible, coming up to the center, is it possible to open the door?
No.
No? Okay. I just want to know.
Well, and
But some of them-
it's for safety reasons.
Okay.
In Connecticut, they can't tell you what the state of the elevator is. Well,
Okay.
in Michigan, they can't. In the rest of the country, we can. But Michigan and our code authorities won't allow us to do that. So,
Okay.
because we don't know what state the elevator's in. From a safety standpoint, no, because as soon as somebody sees a crack in the door, they're gonna wanna push it open and get out.
Right.
And that poses a huge risk. What we wanna do is keep, they're safe here, contrary to the movies. You're safe in an elevator when it stops. There are all kinds of safeties aren't gonna let you go anywhere, right? So this is the safest place you can be.
Plummet down all the way?
Yeah, this doesn't happen. Right, doesn't happen. So, the safest place for them to be is here. Talk to them through the elevator doors. That's what they need to hear. They're not going to suffocate. It's not possible. There's plenty of air and oxygen and all that good stuff. So, your job is really then just kind of to manage their anxiety level. Okay?
Okay.
Any other questions on that?
Nope.
Okay, I'm gonna turn this off and then we'll go into your machine room. Just kind of go, whoops. And again, all of these key switches, we leave 2 keys in every key switch, so general contractor will be turning over a slew of keys to you guys. And if you need some identification on which keys go with what, when I come back out to talk to you about the contract, I'll just bring a little placard with me and that'll give you just a key, okay? You guys wanna go ahead and step out?
All right.
As you can see, your elevator is a series of computer systems, right? So it's really important that you don't get real comfortable going inside of this and trying to reset it yourself. This is your, so right now, I mean, we know it's on the first floor, it's idle, it's had 751 runs on it so far. I would imagine by the time this move-in is done, you'll be in several thousand. This is your monitoring system, that remote elevator monitoring system I told you about. So we are interfacing with the computers on in the elevator system as we speak, transmitting data, okay?
Christine, just real quick, 'cause I noticed it's dusty and stuff in there.
Yeah.
Is that something, like, should they be
No,
doing that, letting you guys do that
no,
one?
let us do it. We won't do it until we settle down a little bit here. And it's also why we try to keep this closed as much as possible. It's also so important that you have a good ventilation system in here and that you keep this room in a nice,
A nice
cool
control.
temperature. Yeah, it's a computer system.
Right.
You know, it's
Want
not,
to keep it cool.
absolutely, so,
Christine, let me ask you, is there any reason for us to be in this room at all?
Well, in Pontiac, I found an oil leak, so I called them. I called them, and I looked in here for, I don't know why,
yeah.
and I found an oil leak, so I called
Okay.
them.
You mean like one of the Vicks was leaking?
It was leaking from one of the joints, not this building. It was
Yeah.
one
What do you gotta do?
everything. Just, you know, that happens, I guess.
What's that?
This pipe here, what's that supply?
Oil. So it goes from the oil tank overhead down into the pit, and then from there it pushes it up into the piston, which moves your
Okay,
elevator.
so that's a hydraulic.
It sure is, an hydraulic oil line,
Okay.
yeah. So, we're gonna be here on a monthly basis. There's nothing that says you can't poke your head in here and see what's going on. In general,
As far as us doing some maintenance or,
we'll come in here, we'll paint the floor, we'll get it all, no, there's no maintenance. I mean, the only thing that if you know, you're gonna routine your disconnects in the building, right, you'll do that on a regular basis, they should be included in that.
okay,
The disconnects is the one, they're yours. From the disconnect, from that piping to the controller, we'll take care of that, but the disconnects remain the building's
I
responsibility.
see you have another key on the wall.
We do. Those sometimes go missing,
Yeah.
which is why we give you a spare, but it should stay in here, because again, if fire department's called,
Okay.
it'll be in there.
So we
This
should
is a
consider
spare.
that the spare.
That's the spare,
Okay.
yeah. And again, it should be really reserved for emergency personnel, elevator personnel. I can't stress that enough.
So we should have this room clean all the time, nothing to be stored.
No, it's against code to have anything other than, that's not elevator related.
People they know. So this room should be clean all the time, nothing to storage.
Yeah, I know it's a nice big room and all very tempting, but it's only for elevator. You can, when you're done moving, if you want to store your elevator pads in here, that's completely fine, that's elevator related, not a problem.
But nothing to belong to the elevator.
So I can't fill it, floor to ceiling full of furniture then, huh?
No, well, you can for probably a year until the inspector, well, until the mechanic comes out, for maybe 30 days.
I got you. Now, we will do it.
Yeah, and it's just so that you don't impede or restrict access to the control system, especially in the event of an emergency. You want people to be able to move as freely as possible and get to the control system.
I think chemical either, because that chemical can also go on that.
Yeah.
And go on chemical.
We may store some lubricants or solvents. I mean, they'll be labeled. They'll be. We don't pour anything down your drains. We don't. I mean, everything. All of our MSDS sheets are available.
Okay.
If you need them.
Is that what this is for?
Now, this will hold our records. So we have to put a service log in here. We have to check your oil levels every month. We have to do a fire service test. We have to be doing regular inspections. And by code, anytime we're out here, we have to document and sign. Mechanics have to sign and log their license number for when they're here. In addition, whenever we're here doing maintenance or on a callback, we have the ability to send you an email to say, hey, we were here, or you called us, there was a problem, we either left the car down for further service or we fixed it, just because you have a lot of things going on in your day, and you won't always have time to follow us around. So it's just another point of contact to say, hey, here's what we've been doing on your elevator. The only thing I need to do that is an email address, and I guess as long as we're talking about this, keys to the elevator doors would be great, because we'll put a lockbox up there so that when we are on site, we can get in door maintenance. And,
Oh, okay, your own set of keys, so that you don't have to get them from us.
Right, right. And then I don't know, is the entrance to the building going to be secured?
Yes.
Is it a keypad or is it a swipe?
It's a key card
Okay.
reader.
We should talk about that too. So from an, are you going to have 24-hour
It's going to be
coverage?
24/7, 365 front desk coverage.
Oh, there will be. Okay, so if we come here on an emergency call or to do maintenance, someone should be here to let us in.
99.9%.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. And that point one, we'll have an emergency number that we
In
can
case,
call.
you know, the security guard, if there's an emergency on number 4, will
Sure.
shut down everything and proceed. to
Okay.
the-
Okay. As long as we're able to get into the building, and then we'll put our lock boxes on each elevator door,
Yeah.
and we can, then you don't have to
Yeah.
worry about stopping whatever you're doing in your day.
As long as we don't have a crisis in progress,
Sure.
we can get in front of it.
Sure, okay. Any questions? No? All right.
Okay, very clear. That was good. Any issues? No, okay.
Then Paul, what I'll do is I'll maybe get with you in 30 days or so.
Absolutely.
We can sit down and talk about maintenance and talk about
Yeah.
how that gets
I'll either
structured.
be in this front office
Okay.
until they get the office spaces done around the 1st of July.
I just, if they, you know, if it.
Just so you know, Alberto and I are permanent building staff,
Okay,
and these guys will come and go as we need them.
okay, all right. Yeah, we'll have our identification stuff here too. Yeah, we'll have the, we have a building identification, we have a route and a supervisor, and then we'll have a contract number and,
And as far as the keys, you guys have the keys until we do a formal turnover then.
The elevator keys, yeah.
Because we gotta figure out our key control system.
And if you have any questions in the meantime, I mean, I left my cell phone number on my card. That's really the best way to get hold of me. And just let me know if you have any questions.
Oh, Christine, thank you for coming down.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Same protocols, anything for elevator?
Yeah, it is, but we can take a walk over there and just take a ride on it if you want, just to make sure everything's.
It's up to them.
If you have time, why don't we, you know?
That's fine. As I pulled into the parking lot, my 9 o'clock got changed.
That's always good.
So,
All right.
yeah,
Just, I don't mean to be a stickler, but it's always good, since she's here, let's go look and see if we learn anything.
Okay,
Okay.
super.
You know, 75 on this end of the building,
I
roughly.
think it'll be fine, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna have a problem.
I mean, it is a hydraulic elevator, so it goes 150 feet a minute, so it's
Well,
not,
let me
you know,
let me ask you
feet
this.
here.
How long can an elevator sit before you think you have problems with it? Like 6 hours, 8 hours, 12 hours?
You mean without activity?
Yeah. Roughly.
You won't have a problem with it. It just might be that the oil temperature cools down.
Right.
And it may settle, you know, as it sits, it'll force air out of the system.
Yeah.
So it may settle a little bit, and when you go to call it, you'll see that it re-levels back to floor level.
I saw that
That's
yesterday.
really-
It kind of
Yeah.
jerked a little bit, and then it was
It's
done.
just that it's been sitting there for a little bit, and then it'll re-level as soon as there's demand on it. And it re-levels within always a quarter of an inch.
Okay. Well, to get to the other elevator, we have to walk outside.
Okay.
Follow that in. Keep that heel down.
Throw some twine.
Test complete.
Yeah.
Oops. Going to get some of this cardigan.
This one goes kind of different, right?
I hate to be the one to ask this, but
This has got a
is this weight limited? I mean, it'll stop working if there's too much weight on it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or
Okay,
it'll
This
just
one's
slowly sink,
2,500.
either one.
Yeah, this one's 2,500 pounds.
Okay.
And the other one's
Do you see
3,500
anything?
pounds.
So, how many people is that?
2,500?
That's about.
Oh, that's about 3 of me.
1,500?
I don't
15
think-
people.
Oh, 15
Yeah, I
people.
don't think
Yeah.
you fit enough people.
Won't
in
fit.
there.
No.
It would be fun.
It does fit, but it's
Yeah.
tight. It's more like a New York
1, 2, 3.
elevator.
So
product.
16 people, it plummets to the floor,
I
right?
think 12 is coming.
Okay, so this is basically the same elevator, just a little smaller,
Yep.
okay?
I'm really glad that you guys got elevator pads. That doesn't happen often enough. And then
Yeah.
it doesn't happen until after the damage occurs usually.
Otis service.
Are these yours or mine?
Hello?
These pads?
Is everything okay in the elevator?
It's fine. I'm just checking the phone to make sure it's programmed. Can you tell me my location?
Sure, one moment.
Thank you.
We should probably just leave these up for a month.
This one's?
Yeah,
I will leave it on
yeah.
until everything is complete.
Exactly.
Everybody's settled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the best time, and then
And just,
Actually, we have it on.
I noticed a couple of the hooks fell off the other elevators, so
Spirit, 285 Piquette.
I didn't know what they
Thank
were,
you.
but now I know
You
what they
too.
are, they're the hooks.
And also.
Oh, that also reminds me. If they haven't been used in a little while, you might notice that there's a hard start or stop, just like a little whoop,
Yeah.
a little
Like I
hard,
did right now.
just yeah, because again, there's no air in the
And that-
line, it's settled. So, but after you ride it a couple times, it'll go away.
Okay.
That's just a
Okay.
characteristic of a hydraulic elevator.
Okay, so we won't get bent out of shape if we
No,
feel a jerk
no.
or something.
No, if it's vibrating or something while
Yeah.
it's moving, if it's, but a little bit of a hard start after a period of
After a couple of
inactivity.
days, we'll know what's normal and what's
Yeah.
not.
I mean, for the most part, these just run.
Okay,
They just run. If
Okay.
I mean, you can overuse a hydraulic elevator where the oil gets too hot.
mhm,
You'll know that too.
okay.
It'll-
Now, we don't have to go in it, but is that elevator room kind of a mirror image of that elevator room?
I don't know. I haven't seen
Oh,
it
you
yet.
haven't seen it?
But we can take a look.
All right,
Yeah, I'm trying to get
So
that.
this is the dust that you was talking about, right? About the laser.
oh
Yeah.
Not, you know, have it clean.
And the only reason I recommend a cloth
Mm-hmm.
is, and we've recessed them. We didn't used to recess them as much because people will put their hands here when they get in, and then oil from your hands
It
transfers
goes
on,
into it.
and then that can cloud up the sensor.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, that's exactly what we're talking about. That will
Okay.
cause a problem.
Okay.
Again, these door tracks.
We're at elevator 2.
That stuff they get.
It can. They're very, like if you toss a business card across here, it will reopen the doors. They're very sensitive because they don't want to shut on anything, whether it be a
Someone
human
could be
or
coming in.
something that could damage the elevator,
Uh-huh,
right?
uh-huh.
So yeah,
Okay.
it's sensitive.
So have this vacuum shut back all
Yep.
the time.
And
make
each
sure
floor,
It's all clean.
because you have a set of these on each floor. This rides with the car.
This,
So
okay.
each floor, yeah, you should keep those clean on a very regular basis.
Great.
Now, one thing I want to point out while we're here is, part of your security system, you got cameras in both,
Oh, okay.
in both cabs.
oh, I didn't notice that,
And
good.
We'll tie it back into your, so security can see who's on the elevators.
Is this part of the Yoda setup, or is it, what's in here?
It should be your sprinkler, it's just your sprinkler. It's not the Otis setup, but it's for your elevator, so it's your sprinkler shut off, yeah.
So is that for, if you have an oil fire in the pit, it'll,
That's just the shut-off valve.
oh, just a shut-off valve?
Just the
Okay.
shut
There's
off,
another
yeah.
one like that over
Okay.
here for the machine room.
Does the, if you have a big hydraulic leak, is it flammable, or is it,
No, not this oil,
Okay.
it's not.
all right,
You couldn't try to set it on fire. It's,
okay.
yeah, no, it'll smell like oil, but other than that,
We got Fred heading over here down the last. Do you have a key for that?
no, no.
He's off.
But again, we'll put a lockbox right up on top of here, it just hangs over the side of the door.
Oh, okay.
And then only our employees have a key to
So,
it.
so the lockbox will be here. Is it pretty secure? Because, some of these guys around here may try to tamper with
It hangs over the entire portion of the door.
Okay.
So there's no way to pull that.
Okay, so if some guy can't sleep at 2 in the morning and decides he
I
wants
mean,
to
if
start
they
messing with it.
wanted to
then-
take a sawzall or a hacksaw or something and try to cut
You'd
it
have
up,
to really work at it.
it's, if somebody wants it, they'll
Yeah.
get it, I suppose. But there'll be enough noise that it should alert somebody that something's going on. We've never had one compromised. In my, I've going on 13 years, I've never had one compromised. So
Okay.
we do business everywhere.
So if the elevator vibrates, what does that usually call in, right? That there's
Yeah,
an
call
issue
us.
with
I
it?
mean, it's, you'll have some movement as it moves up the shaft, right? But it shouldn't be,
Yeah.
you shouldn't be
And,
moving
and
with
the
it.
software should detect that, right? I mean, if it's not operating normally,
It does, yeah, it does. And the software will send out a soft, medium, or hard failure, right? So a hard failure, we know it's shut down, and that takes priority.
Okay.
We still want you to call us. It doesn't replace, it's really just an extra system. A soft failure is something that is not going to shut the elevator down and we can get to on our next maintenance visit. But it alerts us that this needs to be looked at. And then medium is probably a little bit more immediate, that we could prevent, we're actually able to prevent shutdowns when we know that there's something's falling out of its operating parameters, a given function.
Great.
Yeah, it's much more high-tech than elevators of
Very
the
nice.
past, yeah.
Any questions? I don't.
There he is. Perfect timing.
Never mind that.
Sorry about that, we didn't anticipate the second machine room.
Talk to him. The elevator, any service? Have a nice
Thank you.
Have a nice day.
It's not quite mirror image, but similar.
Gotcha.
Oh,
What's all this stuff?
this is the paperwork I was asking our superintendent about. I said, do you have the paperwork? He said, no, it's with the mechanic. So what I'll do,
Yeah, let me go down there.
this is the paperwork that starts all of your quarantine period, okay? So I will take this in to the shop. We've already got it started, but we like to have all the backup. So I'll take this into the shop. And then, anything we need to leave, I'll bring back.
The glass break is fine too.
So the same key that works in that elevator over there is the same key that works here.
Yeah.
So you have one for each elevator, right?
What's that?
The same key fit in all. And you have one in each one. So you have more than a spare one.
You have a lot of spares.
Okay.
Yeah, you should have more elevator keys than you know what to do with.
Okay.
Oh, you know what, those probably got turned over to Dave Taylor. Your tech would have turned those over.
Yeah, they're out of our possession now. So
Okay.
whoever did the handover,
Yeah,
well, I can probably
Dave,
tell you.
Dave Taylor.
I don't know what's up with
If
this
you can't read the handwriting, it's probably Dave Taylor.
I don't know what that is. Doesn't look like,
Oh,
Fred
Fred
Gerstenberg.
Yeah. That's who.
So Fred
Okay, so
should
Fred's
have
right.
everything. Yep, on both of them.
Okay.
Send everything over to Fred.
Okay,
Any questions?
I think we got it.
All right. super.
Thank you very much.
No problem. Please feel free to give me a ring.
Will do.
That's what I'm here for.
Okay.
All right.
And then in the next month or two, we'll get together and talk about long-term budget, maintenance, and all that other stuff.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Sounds good.
Great. Okay,
Thanks.
thank
I
you.
appreciate your time.
To give us this, and we'll, because we're putting in, those owner manuals for the journal to you guys, we're putting those together right now. We can make multiple copies of that, so that you'll have.
And this is different than the owner's manual you would get from Otis. This is something completely separate that wouldn't have been in the contract documents or anything. So
Okay.
this is not the technical, like, owner's manual that you typically look for.
Okay.
This is more for on-site building layman's terms of what to do for.
Front desk
Yeah.
information.
Like more front desk.
Yeah,
Would you
absolutely.
like us to make more than one copy of that, or would you?
Well-
One copy fine.
Yeah,
Why not?
or Corliss can start doing.
Well, if Dan's offering, why not?
Yeah, yeah.
Let's do that.
Okay.
So why,
We'll,
you can keep it and give it to the back.
It's a manual.
Oh, okay.
in your hand.
let's see, one of the
No.
No.
No power of everything.
Okay, so this is the man eater.
No power.
Excuse me. Very careful about where we go.
Everybody here? Y'all ready?
I think we're here.
The first thing I remember is this door never closed. Never close this door.
Never close
Never close it. It's held with the visible link. It's on the spring. Visible link holds it open. That link, if it melts, the door will close.
Okay, so it only closes in a
In a fire door. If it's a fire, the door will close.
Okay, so otherwise never closes.
Right.
Okay.
You have this gate here. Look inside here. This gate here,
It opens that door.
that's what you close off when you change the containers.
Start the guy back, from front back into the.
So when you change containers, you move this thing back here, close it off, and in case any rubbish comes down. And then when you're all done, you move back over here. And that opens, that opens it up so trash can flow through.
Okay.
You got an electric guy here. The electric guy means it runs automatically. When trash comes down, it blocks the eye, machine starts, it runs automatically. It keeps compacting until the trash is gone. You gotta keep this eye clean. The lens back here. I suggest every time
Laser.
Pardon?
It's a laser.
Like a laser or a bead, yeah. Every time you change containers, suggest you take like a damp cloth, just wipe off the lens. If it gets dirty, the machine will think there's trash in there and it will wipe the containers.
Keep cycling.
Yeah. To change containers, basically all you do is unlatch it here, container pulls up, this over here, hook this on the container, just tighten it up.
Okay, so there'll be a container here permanently.
Yes.
Okay, and all the trash is.
Right, all the trash that goes in the container.
Oh, I see.
It will be something like the one that's outside.
Yeah, that's the container there.
Everything will be here.
Right.
Okay.
And that's it. You got two containers inside.
Is the company who's gonna come and take that container out?
No, you guys will take that out. They will be responsible for detaching and attaching the compactor.
So on trash day, we will take that outside.
Right.
And then the trash company.
The trash day, you move it outside, and they will dump it, you know, put it back in.
But we'll have more than one container so that.
There's two out here.
Okay, so one, we can always just kind of do this, okay?
Right, all different. yeah.
All right.
And those containers have what we call a hold down bar on top. That locks your lid shut. That's where your compaction takes place. You don't put them on there, you push your trash in the container, you're not compacting. But put that on there to hold the lids closed, then it's like compacting, it's probably
Okay,
twice.
so the compaction actually takes place in there.
In
far as cleanliness, then we have a deck drain. So as far as cleanliness goes, we just come in here and hose it down, but I know we have some electricity.
Is that permanent? That's a little permanent. You have a drain here, so you can walk out.
Yeah.
The contact the only containers here or outside.
Wonder if we can protect that unit a little better. You know, if we're in your spring things down the hose.
When it comes to the power unit, it's pretty much self-explanatory. You got an on-off switch here. This is off, this is on. You got a key switch here, ignore it, you don't need it, because it runs automatically.
Okay.
I don't know why they put it on there.
Okay.
You got 2 full lights here, 80%, 100%. If you ever see that 80% light come on, change the container.
At 80%.
Don't wait for the
Don't
100%.
wait till 100.
It'll be too full. And most people do it on a regular basis depending on when the hauler comes. Hauler comes Monday, Friday, whatever, that's when they change containers. So you might never see these lights
In a
come on.
building this size, in your experience, would that be about a week's worth?
How many apartments I feed this year?
150. And we have 2 of these, so roughly 75 users per machine.
I would estimate you fill a container maybe every 3 days.
Every 3 days? Okay. So if I had twice weekly pickup,
Yeah.
that'd work? Okay. Okay. Good. Tom, about, I mean, it's one of the things before you go, I want to talk about because I'm putting a budget together, the maintenance contract we have with you guys, or could have with you guys, and what kind of maintenance is required. You come out once a year, once a month.
There is no maintenance. The contract, there's
Okay.
a 1-year warranty for the first year.
Okay, so it's just a 1-year warranty, and we don't have to perform any maintenance on it?
No.
Okay, other than keeping it maybe clean and.
And I don't have any maintenance contract with anybody because there isn't that much to go wrong with these things.
Okay, so they're pretty reliable.
So there, yeah.
Okay.
You have an auto start warning here. Now what happens is when the eye is blocked, the machine starts to run. You have a light flash here and you have a siren go on for about maybe 5 seconds.
So you got a
That's a
warning.
warning to tell people in the area it's going to start running.